Of all the vacuum cleaners, there is one that for sure is racing, and that is this beautiful metallic green and yellow Dirt Devil Ultravision Turbo with the HEPA filter that plugs all the time. It's fantastic. I'd say it served me well as a solid sucker in the shop, but that would be a lie. Let's get her apart. It's amazing how little there actually is to them. So here's my motor. Ooh, filled with the dead hair and filth of somebody else. If you're building a racer, you gotta get the fans off. If you just want to burn one up, well, you can leave the fans on. But if you're gonna be competitive, you just can't have the drag. You'll find usually that there are 3 tabs that are bent over that hold the fan shrouds together.
Daddy,
Usually there's a pair of fans in here.
Daddy,
Yeah, buddy.
I'll make a put in
All right.
mine.
You want to be competitive? Fans must come off. Sometimes it takes an impact wrench. Almost always, they are left-hand thread. What do we got here? I think we might have a double impeller in here. Well, that one's seized. But I can tell that there isn't a second impeller, so I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so you want to save this and that nut, because what you're going to do is take a grinder or a sander, take all those little tits off and separate these two, leaving yourself just a flat aluminum disc. Here's a different one that I've saved, but you can get the idea. That is also your bearing that you're going to want to put a few drops of oil. Now I'm using very, very special electric motor racing oil, which consists of whatever is slippery and closest to my hands at that moment in time. In this case, air tool oil. In theory, it's a sealed bearing, but it always seems to help nonetheless. Now I got to get this apart. I hit that with a sander, pried it apart. You're going to bend it a little, so you want to straighten it up some. That'll be perfect. This, with its bushing, is going to go back on here. I need to swap the order. I got a little bit of wobble in this, and it no longer sits properly. So I'm going to put that underneath and that one on top. So there's that. Now you're going to get your paintbrush out and you're going to paint that flat black, or your spray can. That's what I do. Except for one little stripe which you will leave silver, and you're nearly ready to race. This is going to be a good one. This is to give your RPM gauge. Huh. There is a delay. Weird. There's a delay in the camera view screen. Freaky. Okay, so here, spin stop. Yeah, it's about quarter of a second maybe that this thing shows it's still spinning when I've got to stop. Oh well. Anyways, the last thing you need to do is come up with a way to clamp it. And I firmly believe they have to be clamped sideways. This one, I'll just set it on a block of wood and then push down here. I think that when they spin vertically, I don't know, I just feel like you got them hanging on the bearings and there's just slightly more resistance than there would be right here. There's a crap ton of resistance in this motor and I'm not sure what it is, whether it's brushes or cooked bearings, who really knows. I don't expect this one to be a super fast contender, but I do expect a show. And that's really about it. I've got her mounted, secure enough anyways. She's mounted sideways. I will say you don't want to rush this part. I've had it blow paint all over the place. It's going to turn pretty quick. You don't want anything in direct line on either side. I'm not going to be one of those douchebags that tells you, oh, you can't do this because it's dangerous. I'm just going to be one of those douchebags that tells you if you hurt yourself, it's your own damn fault. Okay? So you really don't want anything in line with the stuff that goes around and around. Out here in front of it, behind it, it's probably going to be okay. The pieces are going to go straight up and out. So safety glasses, right? Always safety glasses. I've seen them blow pieces all over the place. But that's more or less it. Power's wired directly to the brushes. In this case, I just pulled the brush wires off and put new wires on. We're ready to run. Listen to those bearings. This is going to be a torturous affair for this motor. But I can already tell she's got some speed in her. So, if you want to see her run, well, you're going to have to turn into another video. But that's basically how I go about setting up one of my thoroughbred steeds. In this case, a Hoover Dirt Devil Ultra Vision Turbo.